All right.
Hello, Fidel.
Hello. Hello,
How are,
Maria.
how are you?
I am good. How are you?
Fine, thank you. I'm very happy to have this chance to talk to you. You are now in San Francisco, and I am in France. So we have thanks to the technology, we can still speak. We are studying with Serge Augier in the DaXuan Taoïste Tradition, and today we will be talking about what is your story, how did you meet the tradition, and did the practice affect your life, and all this. So for to start, how did you find the tradition from San Francisco?
Yeah. So before I found the tradition, I was very interested in like learning or maybe researching a lot of like movement related arts. Before I was doing Capoeira, it's a Brazilian martial art. And during that time, I kind of got a knee injury.
Oh,
Uh, yeah, it was like a meniscus tear, but at the time I didn't know. But I kind of wanted to just kind of like fix it myself, like you have an injury, you kind of want to just help yourself. And that kind of sent me through a quest, you could say it. Like I didn't realize at the time, but I kind of started investigating. Okay, what can I do? Can I stretch? Can I don't know, do exercises, strengthen different things, and kind of like more of a Western approach. Um, so that kind of led me to discover names in the more like movement world, I call it, like various people that have, I kind of have some kind of leadership, and they kind of like have different methodologies and things that they come up with, and also like that sent me into an investigation into other arts, like dancing or maybe more like weightlifting and kind of like body weight training, like gymnastics and all that stuff. So I went through like a process of like doing all of that, and that kind of probably lasted like around maybe like, I don't know, I would say like a year or so. During that process, I started kind of feeling that I need something to relax, like
mm,
because I'm doing all this stuff, I kind of like my thinking was, okay, I need something more relaxing, more kind of like balancing, what I was doing, and and that kind of doing more like stretching at the beginning,
okay.
and that sent me through a website called Stress Therapy, where I met online Craig,
Ah, okay.
yeah, Craig, Emmett, all the people around there in Australia, around Craig, as like a group, a crew in
Okay.
Australia, and kind of like I started frequenting the forums there,
Okay.
and Craig at some point kept posting about the Negon that he was doing with Serge. Like he said, oh, this teacher, and I've been doing this, and that kind of sounded really interesting to me.
Ah,
Uh, hmm And I mean, yeah, at the same time, I was looking for Qigong classes around my San
okay.
Francisco. Like at that time, I thought, okay, maybe if I do Qigong, once or twice a week in the park or something, it, it kind of would be nice, and yeah, I follow like, okay, search who's Serge, and then I look him up, and then there's a book called Shang Gong and in DaXuan. I
Yeah.
got the book. Then I read The Warrior Guards of Mountain from Alex Cosma, and then I saw the documentary he did, and then at the end I felt a really strong urge to like sign up with Search. Uh, but at the same time, I was doing other stuff like like weightlifting. I was doing like online coaching with someone, like on body weight training and weightlifting, and at the same time, I was doing like capoeira and maybe even some dancing. So I was doing like many things, and then kind of like, okay, I'm gonna sign up with Search now. So it was like adding on top of that, like like it was like a sandwich. And so yeah, I signed up with Search and I started training pretty much right away because I read the book. Shang Gong and Edan, and I've kind of started doing some 5 minute Shang Gong thing, Shang Gong sessions, like which I've never done meditation before.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, and actually I tried it once with another tradition. I tried it like once, but it didn't kind of resonate with me. But what I like about DaXuan at the time was that they DaXuan kind of had like more complete training, more like it felt like you can do many things. So so that's why I follow and signed up, and I started training. And then that time also, I think 1 or 2 months later, I got a surgery, knee surgery.
Okay.
Yeah, because of my knee. And
Okay, for your knee.
yeah. And so even though I had my surgery, I still did my basic hands sitting down, and my
Yeah.
Nedand and kind of Shang Gong. So I was really just training maybe like 15, 20 minutes a day. But yeah, I think that was because I asked Serge, can I do this sitting down? I said, yeah, you can do sitting down. So I was sitting down doing my basic hands, and yeah, that was the beginning. That was the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how long has it been now?
So
When
that was end of 2015. So that's like 4 years and
Wow.
a few months. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it feels like, a decade now. Feels
Eternity.
like a long time. you know.
Great. And after your knee, you went on practicing, I guess. Uh,
Yes.
and how about the other practices you were doing before the big sandwich?
The big sandwich.
You put things around.
So I continue like the other stuff, like more limited because I couldn't do leg stuff. So I continue on with my online coaching, and then capoeira kind of didn't do for a while. So yeah, and I was doing handstands and stuff like that. and but yeah, I continue on like for a while, and then once my knee started getting better, I kind of started doing more stuff. Like I even went back to capoeira, I think.
Good.
And kind of so yeah, I was just still doing things, but with DaXuan, I still like doing DaXuan stuff,
Yeah.
like over time. And then I think 2016, like I kind of started training more and more DaXuan, kind of like doing more and more time, and kind of like the other stuff kind of started, decreasing.
Diminishing, yes.
Yeah, diminishing, and I think little by little, like I kind of, I think it was in 2016 I left capoeira and like I don't want to do this anymore. And also I did stop doing online coaching. Uh, and but I still kind of wanted to do other stuff like dancing. Uh,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
like I still wanted to like move in like close to the floor. Kind of that's what I like. Uh,
Yeah, it is more kind of a hobby for you, a passion.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And sometimes I still do, yeah, right now. Sometimes I still just play, kind
Mm.
of like just to play really,
Your
just to have
passion.
fun.
Yeah, it's good.
Uh,
But at one point, yeah, you had to let some time for the practice and the body, the mind, and the breathing to have time, each of them.
right, yeah. At some point I had to divide the practices into three, and then kind of follow the practice different in like how we usually are taught.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think at the end, like I really just I put priority on the Shuan, and the rest kind of just diminish, not disappear, but more like I just didn't want to do it anymore. Kind of,
The
yeah,
room was taken. Somehow we don't have so much time.
right.
Time limited. So yes, once you choose, it's important to give it time. And was it difficult to practice every day?
Not really for me because I had with capoeira I kind of cultivated discipline,
Ah, okay. Cool.
like train every day
Oh,
and
so you
yeah,
already did before. Okay.
yeah. So this was just a change of my discipline.
Yes. What
Yeah.
you practice. And how about the three aspect, the body, mind, and the breathing? You said before you didn't do meditation. Did you notice some things in your life that changed because you practiced the three and what change did it make?
Oh yeah, a lot of changes.
Okay.
Uh, it was like maybe 6 months, 6, 7, 8 months in, I noticed a lot of changes. Uh, like I would enjoy a lot more what I was doing. Before it was, before I think I had, before it was all about like, okay, what can I do to, I don't know. I was thinking more of other people rather than myself. Kind of like, and kind of like, but when I started practicing, I noticed it more and more about like how I feel, like how am I can enjoy this more
Mm.
uh, without without trying too hard. It's just kind of like I was just enjoying my life more, like generally, which is really cool. And like many like real little very small habits with my thinking, like no judging, no criticizing, no complaining, stuff like that. Kind of just slowly, kind of like started, um,
Use like tea.
yeah,
Use
yeah,
use these like tea.
yeah. I think like all of a sudden, I think at some point I was like, like I had a bad day, in like bad day, like the metro was really bad, and then there were like all sorts of bad incidents that happened on that day. But then I still was like kind of relaxed. And before I noticed then, like if it was me then, like 6 months before, I think I would have been really angry or something. It's kind of like, so you kind of notice these subtle changes after a while that
Yeah,
that you change, like some
yeah.
things change, which is a
Very
very very
small,
cool thing.
but it's changed. It has
Hmm.
changed.
Yeah.
And it's interesting what you said about this center outside and center inside. That your center was more outside than inside, and you rebalanced things while practicing. Yeah, it's very interesting. And now you seem more open to the outside even.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. You are more open to the outside, more open to people. Like when you interact with people, you kind of are more in the moment with them. And when you're like, yeah, when you're like when we're in social gatherings, I really enjoy myself a lot more,
Mm,
even though it wasn't even doing less interesting things.
yeah,
uh, I would enjoy a lot more, which is nice. It's
it's
like
nice.
it's like that. Yeah.
It's all about functioning better.
Right.
So functioning it's about everything in our
Right.
life.
Exactly. Yeah.
And how about in your job? Did you notice some effects?
My job definitely did. Uh, yeah, I think I became more productive in a way, but at the same time more relaxed.
Mm.
And also like when there was like pressure and a little bit of stress, you kind of you notice, and then you have tools to like
Mm.
uh, help you with that. We have so many tools to help you with that, and kind of I was able to manage it better. In fact, even my job took like a second priority. I took more priority on my practice. uh, right, I think right now it might be like I might have to start going back a little bit more in my job, but I think there was a period of time where my job took a second priority. I was practicing. My practice took a lot more priority.
Okay.
But my job was again, like, no, I used to pick on little stuff that people would say, or people's little stuff that people would do that would annoy me sometimes, and kind of like I would, and then like after a while, it didn't, I was like, okay, it's just, it's just what they're doing.
Mm.
I didn't even pay attention, and that kind of also helped me be more relaxed, and less stressed and stuff. So yeah, it's good.
Great. And now you are studying the DaXuan tradition. How do you feel about the tradition? Do you feel like there are so much things? How do you feel about it?
I feel like it's like an infinite source of uh, wisdom and knowledge that I am connected with, and I can inspire me to continue my life, and
Yeah.
even guide my life, kind of things that I want to do, or are they actually things that I should be doing? If, things like that, and also like direction on like maybe my job, my career, my personal life. It's kind of like it's a lot of tools there to like just make your life better and better. Also, it's a sense of belonging to a tradition, belonging to like a greater thing rather than just you and
Yeah.
just you. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot around the world, and it's great. And I know you have been giving some classes or transmitting some tools around you.
Yes. I did a couple of seminars, but they were like more like test seminars, and I don't have. I had one student because it's humble beginnings.
Yeah, of
uh,
course. But what did you notice that could help them? What did you see that
um,
helped them?
so I noticed more like one of the students he was doing Tai Chi from another tradition, and what definitely helped. What would definitely help him was the foundations.
Ah,
The foundations, like basic hands and like a little bit of like conscious breathing and a little bit of Shang Gong.
mm,
But I think when we started doing basic hands with him, then he started practicing every day. He started noticing changes.
ah,
Um,
it's
and
interesting coming from another Tai Chi tradition.
yeah, and I think he said like his Tai Chi form would feel better.
Yeah, you can put the quality.
Yeah, you can put the qualities in the Tai Chi form that he's doing.
Oh,
Uh, but yeah, I think like the foundations, he himself noticed that the foundations are very important. You cannot you you cannot forget about them. You always, we are in our tradition. We always go back to the foundations.
go
Like,
back to the
yeah,
foundation.
we all always go back, always, and it's only, and you realize you actually want to go back to foundations. It's not like, oh, I have to go. It's kind of
Yeah,
you
yeah,
actually to.
yeah. I see the idea because sometimes you think, oh, it's like when you play music, you have to go back to the things you do to train
Yeah.
before you play a proper music or song. But in this case, it's a little bit different. Maybe it has more pleasure, but I guess a musician after a while, when he goes back to the training, also can enjoy it because you understand why you go back to it, and it will give more feeling and everything in the song, and the music is the same. We always go back to to the basic.
Yeah, always. And yeah, it's funny because I think I think I was doing some foundational stuff at some point, and then I noticed something clicked, and then and now like okay, something clicked. Now can I do this on a more complex things, more complex forms, and then I started playing with that. Yeah, and it was really it actually improved my whole like practice a lot because that little click thing it kind of spread everywhere, and then yeah, it was. And then once you get more and more into the complex stuff, at some point you say, okay, I'm lost now, go back, and then repeat.
Yeah, come and go back, come and go back. And how
Yeah.
about your knee?
My knee, oh yeah, it's so much better now.
Mhm.
It's I don't have any problems with my knee.
Great.
Yeah, and I still do some dancing here and there, and just for fun. And I noticed the training. Like I'm so well more relaxed when I move.
Ah,
Like and I when I move, I have some intention at the same time, which is what intention is so huge in DaXuan. Like we train intention all the time. So when I move in my dancing, even when dancing, I have an intention there, which is yeah, it's
very interesting because
yeah,
even in classical dance, you say you have to have the intention to your fingers.
yeah,
You can't have your hand like this
yeah,
doing
exactly,
classical
yeah,
dance in the ballet and everything. It's always so it's very interesting. You can put it in your kind of dance.
yeah,
I think it adds a lot.
yeah. It's more improvised. What I like doing, improvised dance,
Well,
and and so it's more you put intention in your improvisation, which is I think is really cool.
yeah,
Uh, so yeah, I think my knee is yeah hasn't given me any problems. It's not it's good. Took a while, but it's good. Yeah,
yeah. It always does because you had if you had surgery,
yeah.
normal.
The surgery the surgery kind of does it.
Oh. And did you change your in your daily life, like your um, you know, when we practice, we do we put attention on sleeping well and sleeping enough and the daily condition, living condition.
Yeah,
Things.
I yeah. I mean, I think by default, when you are working on yourself, you notice more things that you do, and then you pick things that you don't like that you do, and you start changing them or maybe even noticing them at the beginning more and more,
Oh yes.
and and then and then you start maybe switching things here and there,
Mm.
like diet, maybe like it's not like perfect diet,
Of
but
course.
it's more of a you kind of notice how you feel after eating certain things the
Yeah.
next day, and then kind of like when sleeping also is a huge part, like how you sleep better, how do you wake up, how do you feel when I wake up, uh, and like all the
Be aware.
also yeah, be aware of how you walk, uh, how do you feel when you arrive at work, how do you feel when you leave work, how do
Mm.
you feel when you are uh, going home from work, stuff like that. You're always kind of noticing over and over again, and you kind of start making adjustments or noticing them, and then kind of like that kind of you go back to them sometimes when you have like a self-realization moment that happens. We all do when we have practice like this. We all have like self-realizations, like wow, things like yes, it's like a big massive click that just awoken something. But then because you kind of go back to all those memories that you have been feeling and then you notice things and things kind of click in a way. So it's good to feel and to notice these things like over time, and that's something you're subconscious, I think, and then you just kind of comes up in a way.
Yes.
Yeah.
As you as I understand what you say, it's more consciousness
Yeah.
all day long.
Yeah. Yeah. All day long, as much as you can. Of course, sometimes you.
Of course.
But the thing about like when you lose it, it's not you kind of beat yourself up that you lost it, but it's more like when you go back, then you're like, oh, I went back now, so it's fine.
I'm back.
Yeah, I'm back. It's like, it's a good. I think that's a good practice in itself. Just all day long, kind of see how you feel. And
Yeah, because it is not only when you are properly practicing, doing the Shang Gong, etc. It's also outside of the practice.
yeah, and also when interacting with people, it's a huge thing to notice how you interact,
Wow.
how and what you could change maybe.
Yeah.
And I think that's also a huge part of the practice that we should do, I think.
How does it make you feel? How do you respond? What do they say? How do you hear it?
Yeah, how like interpretation, right? Like maybe they meant something else, but you interpreted completely different from what they meant, and then maybe okay, maybe I need to ask for clarification more or something, kind of like things like that. And maybe like when you just talk without thinking,
Also.
also it's like blah, and like maybe maybe I shouldn't have said that. So
Talk less, practice more.
yeah, exactly.
Okay, well, thank you, Fidel. Did you want to add something, maybe? But thank you for what you shared. It's very interesting, all the changes.
Yeah, thank you, Marian. I think I wanted to say, yeah, there's like so many traditions right now that you have access to, online. Um, but I think if someone picks one or various, like some people sometimes you kind of start sometimes picking many. You want to do things from different places, different traditions, which of course is some it's I know I've done that myself, and
It's the
at some
sandwich time.
yeah, the sandwich time, and I think at some point I think you have to, if you really want to evolve, if you really want to push yourself further and further, I think you maybe want to pick one at the end, uh, and also very important is that you can only improve with work. You cannot. You have to work every day. You have to do the work, do the practice every day. Otherwise, you won't improve. And yeah, whatever you pick, it's good
As
to.
Serge says, if you do it, it works. If you
Exactly.
don't do it, it doesn't work. So do
Yeah.
something. If you want something to work, do it.
Yeah, and don't blame it on the tradition that doesn't work.
Yeah, of course. Tradition
Yeah.
has so many more years than we have, and it's never tradition's fault.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Fidel. Thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
thanks to the tradition and Serge. And yeah, I wish you a good practice in San Francisco.
Thank you.
And maybe we see you again in France very soon.
Yeah.
Maybe not very soon, but
Not very soon, but
someday. Now we are in the
yeah.
lockdown, so
Yeah.
not very soon. It's me. I want to see you again, but no, maybe someday. I hope.
Someday. Yeah.
I hope
Yeah.
we
Yeah. Yeah.
can see each other again.
For sure.
Take
Well,
take care.
take care.
Bye bye,
Bye.
Fidel.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.